You've done this. I've done this. Every single person watching this has done this, and nobody knows why. You're lying in bed, scrolling your phone, starting to drift off, and your whole body jolts, like you just fell off a cliff. Your heart's pounding, you grab the mattress, and then you realize you're fine. You're in your bed, nothing happened, but your brain is convinced you were falling. Or this one, you walk into a room, you had a very clear reason for being there, and the second you cross the doorway, it's gone. Completely gone. You're just standing there like an idiot trying to remember why you exist. Or, and this is the one that really gets me, you're in the middle of a totally normal day, and suddenly everything feels familiar. Like you've lived this exact moment before. Same room, same words, same feeling, and you know you haven't, but your brain says you have. These aren't random. I went down this rabbit hole about 2 weeks ago, and what I found genuinely changed how I think about my own brain. Because every single one of these glitches, every weird thing your brain does that you've just accepted as, that's strange, traces back to a specific moment in evolution. They're not bugs, they're features that are millions of years old, running on hardware that was never designed for the modern world. And here's what's crazy, they're all connected. Each one leads to the next. So let me take you through 6 brain glitches you experience all the time, and by the end, I think you'll see your own head in a completely different way. Okay, let's start with the big one, déjà vu. That feeling that you've already lived a moment that you definitely haven't. About 60 to 75% of people experience déjà vu at some point. It happens more when you're young, more when you're tired, and more when you're stressed. And for the longest time, scientists had no real explanation for it. People thought it was everything from past lives to proof we're living in a simulation, which, honestly, would explain a lot about my life choices. But here's what the science actually says now. A researcher named Akira O'Connor at the University of St. Andrews has been studying this for almost 20 years, and his work is kind of wild. What he found is that déjà vu isn't a memory error. It's actually the opposite. It's your brain's fact-checking system catching an error in real time. So here's how it works. Your brain has 2 systems running simultaneously. One is the familiarity system. It's constantly scanning your environment going, have I seen this before? Have I been here before? And the other is the recollection system. It checks the details. When was I here? Why does this feel familiar? Normally these 2 systems are perfectly in sync. But sometimes, especially when you're tired or stressed, the familiarity system fires a false positive. It goes, yes, I've been here. And the recollection system goes, wait, no you haven't. And that conflict, that weird, eerie feeling, that is déjà vu. It's your brain catching its own mistake. And here's the part that blew my mind. O'Connor says experiencing déjà vu is actually a good sign. It means your frontal lobe, the fact-checking part of your brain, is working correctly. It caught the error. People who never get déjà vu might actually have a less active error detection system. So the next time you get déjà vu, don't freak out. Your brain is literally doing quality control. It's running a diagnostic. That's actually kind of cool. But here's the thing. If your brain has a fact-checking system for familiarity, what happens when it applies that same logic to other things? Like locations. Which brings us to brain glitch number 2. And this one you've definitely experienced. You're sitting on the couch. You think, I need to grab my charger from the bedroom. You stand up. You walk to the bedroom. You cross the doorway. And nothing. Gone. You're standing in the bedroom with absolutely no idea why you're there. You might even walk back to the couch, and the second you sit down, oh right, the charger. This is called the doorway effect, and it's not just you being forgetful. A psychologist named Gabriel Radvansky at Notre Dame has been studying this since 2006, and what he found is honestly kind of disturbing. Your brain divides your life into episodes, like chapters in a book. And doorways? Doorways are chapter breaks. When you walk through a door, your brain goes, okay, that chapter's done, filing it away, starting a new one. The information from the old room, including your reason for getting up, gets archived. It's still in there somewhere, but it's no longer in your active memory. Your brain literally hits save and close on the old file. And they tested this in multiple ways, in virtual reality environments, in real physical rooms. They even had people carry objects through doorways versus the same distance within a single room. Same distance, same effort. But the people who walked through a doorway performed significantly worse on memory tests right after. The doorway itself was the trigger. And here's what makes this even crazier. It doesn't matter if you walk through a doorway and come right back to the same room. Radvansky tested that too. Going back to the original room doesn't restore the memory. Once the brain files that chapter away, it doesn't just reopen because you return to the setting. You have to reconstruct the memory from scratch. That's why the only reliable fix is to literally go back, sit in the exact same spot, and retrace your mental steps. And the thing that gets me about all this is, it's not a malfunction. Radvansky says this is actually your brain being efficient. It can't keep everything ready at all times. So it prioritizes what's relevant to your current environment. New room? New priorities. Old task? Filed away. Most of the time, this system works perfectly. It's only when you notice the failures that you realize the system exists at all. A more recent study from Bond University in 2021 added an interesting wrinkle. They found the effect is way stronger when you're already distracted or mentally loaded. If you're focused and you walk through a door, you're usually fine. But if you've got 3 things on your mind and you cross that threshold, gone. Which honestly explains why it happens to me approximately 9 times a day. I spent like an hour reading about this and then immediately walked into my kitchen and forgot why I went there, which felt like the universe was personally testing me. Now, the doorway effect is your brain managing location, but your brain also has a glitch that manages something even more primal, your connection to other people. And this one is way older than doors. Which brings us to yawning. And yes, I know, yawning seems boring compared to déjà vu and memory loss, but stick with me, because this one goes deeper than you'd expect. Here's the question. Why is yawning contagious? You see someone yawn, you yawn. You hear someone yawn, you yawn. I guarantee some of you just yawned reading the word yawn. And scientists still don't fully understand why. But the leading theory is honestly kind of beautiful. Contagious yawning appears to be linked to empathy. Studies have shown that people with higher empathy scores are more susceptible to catching yawns. People with certain social processing differences are less likely to catch them. You're also more likely to catch a yawn from someone you're close to, a family member or friend, than from a stranger. Your brain literally yawns harder for people it cares about, which is weirdly wholesome for an involuntary reflex. And here's the evolutionary part. Some researchers think contagious yawning is a leftover from an ancient group synchronization system. Like, think about it. You're a group of early humans, somewhere in Africa, a few 100,000 years ago. No language yet, no clocks. No way to say, hey everybody, we should probably all sleep at the same time, because there are predators out there, and if half of us are asleep while the other half are awake, we're going to have a problem. So, how do you coordinate? One person yawns, it spreads. The whole group gets sleepy at the same time. You all go to sleep together, you all wake up together, and somebody's always on roughly the same schedule. It's basically a 300-million-year-old group chat. One notification, everybody responds. And your brain still does this even though you have an alarm clock, a bed, a locked apartment, and absolutely no predators in your living room. Well, unless you count your cat at 4 a.m. staring at you from the foot of the bed like it's about to make a decision. And it's not just humans. Dogs catch yawns from their owners. Chimps catch them from each other. Even parakeets have been observed doing it. This is so old and so deeply wired that it crosses species boundaries. Now, both yawning is your brain syncing with other people. But what happens when it tries to sync with something that isn't even alive? That brings us to phantom phone vibrations. And this is where ancient brain meets modern tech, and things get weird. You felt it. Your phone is in your pocket. It vibrates. You pull it out. No notification, no call, nothing. Your phone didn't vibrate at all. Your brain made it up. This happens to like 90% of smartphone users. And the explanation is honestly one of my favorite things I learned during this research. Your brain is constantly monitoring your body for signals. Touch, pressure, temperature, movement. It's processing all of this all the time. And for millions of years, any unexpected sensation on your skin was something your brain needed to pay attention to immediately. A bug crawling on you, a snake, anything touching you that shouldn't be there. Your brain evolved to be hyper-alert to skin sensations because ignoring them could literally kill you. Now fast forward to 2026. You've trained your brain that a small buzzing sensation on your thigh means information. A text, a notification, social connection, dopamine. Your brain wants that dopamine so badly that it starts preemptively interpreting normal body sensations, a muscle twitch, a bit of fabric shifting, as a vibration. It's a caveman reflex that's been hijacked by a device that didn't exist 20 years ago. I don't know whether to be impressed or terrified by that. My brain has literally rewired a survival mechanism from the savannah to check Instagram. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. And speaking of things that are connected, if you're enjoying how all of these link together, hit subscribe. I do this every other day, and it only gets weirder from here. Seriously, about 80% of you watching right now aren't subscribed, which is kind of wild. It takes half a second, and it helps me keep making these deep dives. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so we've gone from your brain fact-checking itself, to filing memories by room, to syncing with other humans, to hallucinating phone calls. Each glitch is a little older, a little more primal, but this next one? This one goes all the way back, like before we were even human back, which brings us to the Hypnic jerk, that full-body jolt you get right as you're falling asleep. About 70% of people experience these, and the leading theory for why they happen is genuinely wild. Some scientists believe the Hypnic jerk is an ancient primate reflex. Here's the idea. Our ancestors slept in trees. When you're falling asleep in a tree and your muscles start relaxing, that's dangerous, because relaxed muscles mean you could fall. So the brain developed a quick check. As your body transitions from awake to asleep, it sends a burst of electrical signals to your muscles, kind of like a test ping. Hey, are we still holding on? Are we secure? And your muscles fire back with that massive jolt. The problem is, you're not in a tree, you're in a bed, with a mattress, and probably a weighted blanket. But your brain doesn't know that. It's running software that was written for a treetop 50 million years ago. So it jolts you awake, your heart rate spikes, you get that sensation of falling, and then you lie there staring at the ceiling thinking, what just happened? What happened is your inner primate checked if you were about to die. You weren't, but it didn't know that. I had to read this 3 times to make sure I was understanding it correctly. Every night, your brain essentially goes, quick systems check. Are we in a tree? The answer is always no. But it asks anyway. Every single night. That's millions of years of evolution just refusing to update. And that reflex, your body being paralysis checked by your brain, that actually connects directly to the last and weirdest glitch of all. Okay, this one. This is the one I saved for the end because it's genuinely the most unsettling brain glitch humans experience. Sleep paralysis. You wake up. Your eyes are open. You can see your room. You can hear everything. But you can't move. Not your arms, not your legs, not your head. Nothing. You are fully conscious and completely frozen. And about 40% of the time, people in this state also hallucinate a presence in the room, a shadow figure, a weight on their chest, something standing at the foot of the bed. Throughout history, people have described this as demons, ghosts, aliens. Every culture has a version of this exact same experience. And the explanation? It's actually your body's defense system working too well. During REM sleep, the phase where you dream the most vividly, your brain paralyzes your muscles, on purpose. It's called REM atonia. And it exists because without it, you would physically act out your dreams. You'd punch, kick, run, scream, all while unconscious. So the brain shuts your body down, total lockout. Sleep paralysis happens when you wake up before that lockout gets lifted. Your mind is conscious, your body is still frozen, and because your brain is still partially in dream mode, it projects dream imagery onto your real environment. That shadow figure? That's a dream you're having with your eyes open, in a room you can actually see. Nobody came looking for that explanation for thousands of years. People just thought demons were real. And honestly, if I woke up paralyzed with a shadow person in my room, I wouldn't be Googling REM atonia. I'd be moving. But here's what connects all of this, and this is the part I keep thinking about. Every single glitch we just talked about is the same thing. It's ancient software running on modern hardware. Déjà vu is a pattern recognition system built for a world with fewer patterns. The doorway effect is a memory management system built for a world with fewer rooms. Contagious yawning is a group sync system built for a world with no clocks. Phantom vibrations are a threat detection system built for a world with no phones. Hypnic jerks are a fall prevention system built for a world where you slept in trees. Sleep paralysis is a dream containment system that occasionally traps you inside it. Your brain isn't broken. It's running exactly the way it was designed to, millions of years ago. The problem is that the world changed, and the brain hasn't fully caught up. It's like running Windows 95 on a modern computer. Most things work fine, but every now and then, the old software does something that makes absolutely no sense in the new environment, and you just have to sit there and go, well, that happened. And here's the open question I want to leave you with. What other glitches are we experiencing every day that we don't even notice? What other ancient programs are running in the background, shaping how we think, what we believe, what we're afraid of? Because that evolutionary leftover in your brain, that tendency to see patterns, to sync with your group, to fear things that aren't there, it didn't just create brain glitches. It created something much bigger. It created myths. Stories that entire civilizations believed for thousands of years. And on Tuesday, we're going to look at 3 ancient myths from 3 different civilizations that had zero contact with each other, and they all describe the exact same event. Same story. 3 continents, no phones, no internet, no connection. How? If you want to see how brain evolution connects to ancient myths, subscribe. It drops Tuesday. Drop a comment telling me which brain glitch happens to you the most. For me, it's the doorway effect. It's honestly embarrassing how often it happens. And if you haven't seen our first video about serial killers and the blind spots in law enforcement, check it out. The idea of systems with blind spots is exactly what we're building on here. I'll see you guys Tuesday.